Motion on the floor by Councilman Rogers, second by Councilman Alexander. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? In the minutes stand approved unanimously. I'm gonna get, Councilman Cole on the phone. He wishes to join us by telephone. He's, traveling. All right, I'm putting you on. I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna mute it. No, mute yourself. Thank you, sir.
All right, I'll do that. Thank you.
All right, minutes were just approved. At this time, I will, move that we take our public comment portion of today. We've got 3 signed up. Is everyone here that's gonna speak on public comment, is there anyone not gonna be speaking on the appeal? If you're not speaking on the appeal or something else on the agenda you wanna talk about, raise your hand. All right, I'm gonna move that we move our public comment over to under item number 3. That would be more appropriate. Folks that are here for other presentation stuff, go ahead and leave. We'll hear that, their testimony, their public input prior to the appeal, which is item number 4, new business. Make that form of motion. We've been already. All right, have a second. I made the motion, and a second by Councilman Rogers. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Lee. That is unanimous. Move public comment, down to new business, just before item number 4. All right, special request reports. Roberta, do you have anything?
Mayor Chancellor, thank you for allowing me to be here. Williams Freedom Festival was definitely one for the record books. We launched 1,956 bottles for the Big Creek Race, and we gave away more than $40,000 in prizes. 64 Williamston businesses participated this year. And the Freedom Market, we had 23 vendors. Then we gave a fire and ice package away at the concert. That consisted of a nugget ice machine and fireworks valued at $1,000. We had people from Anderson, Aiken, Belton, Boiling Springs, Easley, Fairplay, Captain, Gant, Greenville, Honey Path, Liberty, Little Mountain, Malden, Pelzer, Piedmont, Pickens, Seneca, Simpsonville, Spartanburg, Star, West Pelzer, Williamston, and one from Millers, Maryland, that registered for our prize. Next up for us is, we will be assisting the Police Department, Anderson District 1, with the back to school giveaway. That's going to be on Monday, July 27th, at the middle school. That's from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. July also brings our kids' summer scavenger hunt at the park. That's July 25th through August the 1st. We've got a busy day that day. August 1st is bingo from 1 to 3. And also on August 1st is Give the Summer Bash. And we have Experience Soul performing. That is from 6 to 9 p.m. at the park, weather permitting, or in the auditorium and all. And that's all I have. Anybody have anything for me?
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to tell all of our volunteers, staff, and Division of Wisdom, give them our sincere thanks for the 4th of July Festival. It was hot. There was a lot of work went into it, a lot of planning, a lot of putting up, tearing down, a couple of thunderstorms rolling through, a few delays, but we persevered through it, and thankfully was able to have a very successful day. So thank y'all, town staff, Division of Wisdom, and volunteers for doing that. Appreciate it very much. Any other reports or anything? And so, item 1 on old business. We have second reading on ordinance amending zoning regulations in the R3 district. We've talked about this ad nauseum. Finally getting around to our second and final reading of the R3. Basically, correct me if I'm wrong, Ray, this will remove any type of multifamily housing, such as apartments, duplexes, so on and so forth, out of the R3 and place it into MFR, which is multifamily residential. In essence, that's what this does. Again, second final reading, I'll entertain a motion to adopt. A motion on the floor by Councilman Alexander. Second by Councilman Rogers. Any discussion?
Mayor, very briefly, one question.
Go ahead.
I spoke with David Chapman after the first reading on this. Just wanted to confirm that it is your administrative interpretation of this ordinance that any
I'll be honest with you, I'm not aware of any one in the process. I will say for sure if they've already started the permitting process, or at least started an application through planning and zoning, I would assume that will be grandfathered in. Would you assume the same thing, Ray? I think we're, I got anything to add on that? We can't go through, I don't think legally we can go through and try to jerk the rug out from under somebody that's already in the process. That would be my administrative interpretation as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? Lee?
Yes.
All right, that's unanimous. Next up, we have item number 2, second reading on the orders to amend the budget to provide funding for the Greenville Street sidewalk project. This is a project that's been in the works for quite some time, and overall project estimation, we're thinking should be about $1 million. We're not exactly sure, positive yet, and a lot of it depends on the Department of Transportation, some of their requirements. What we're approving tonight will be $26,000 from the town's contingency fund to be able to Alliance Consulting Engineer to do 2 things. Number 1, we need to have a $10,000 for existing conditions, topographical study, and I believe that's also a survey of property. And then B, $16,000 for their schematic design and an updated preliminary cost opinion, which would give us a more accurate number of exactly what it's going to take. Again, we're committing $26,000 toward that project. This is the initial project, so we can start figuring out where the boundaries are, what the DOT right-of-ways are, and do a schematic design for an updated cost opinion, so we'll know exactly what it's going to cost. All right. This time I'll entertain a motion to adopt that on second final reading.
So moved.
There's a motion on the floor by Councilman Higgins, second by Councilman Rogers. Any discussion? Lee, you good?
Yes.
All right. Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? And it's unanimous on this side, Lee?
Yes.
All right. It's unanimous. Next up, we have first reading on the election ordinance. And y'all hang on, I'm gonna read the whole thing. There's a lot to it. I try to do that this on the first reading, first or second reading, we'll do it on the first one this time. Whereas it's the duty of town council and town officials to establish fair and orderly municipal elections, and whereas pursuant to section 5-15-10 of the South Carolina Code of Laws, the town council of town officials desires to order and establish regulations for the 2026 general municipal election. Now therefore be ordained, the election for the office of Town Councilman Ward 1 and Town Councilman Ward 2 is hereby ordered to be held on the 3rd day of November 2026. Polls shall open at 7 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. The election shall be nonpartisan. Candidates for the office of Town Councilman shall be residents of the wards which they seek to represent. Each candidate shall qualify by paying the entrance fee to the town clerk. The entrance fee to the town office of Town Councilman shall be $50. Precincts involved in the election will be the portion of the Williamston precinct, Williamstonville precinct, and Cedar Grove precinct inside the municipal limits of the town of Williamston. The polling places are as follows. Williamstonville precinct will be Calvary Baptist Church. Williamston precinct will be Palmetto Middle School. Cedar Grove precinct will be Calvary Baptist Church as well.
That's a typo. That's Cedar Grove School.
Cedar Grove will be at Cedar Grove School?
No.
All right, we'll correct that as scrivener's error. I know we did combine them at one time.
But if it's a special election, we'll do that so they gotta make that trip.
Candidates for the office of town council shall register with the municipal election commission at the Winston Municipal Center located 12 West Main Street, Winston, South Carolina, 29697. Votes will be open for filing at 12 p.m. on August 2026. August 2026.
That Monday, the first Monday.
It's a good thing I read these, right?
Yeah.
Figure out what they noticed.
First Monday is the third.
All right. So votes will be open for filing at 12 p.m. on August the 3rd, 2026.
And close on Saturday.
And will close on the 17th. Will remain open during regular business hours until 12 p.m. That is high noon on August the 17th, 2026. Candidates for the office of town council shall register by the filing of a statement of candidacy and the payment of the above referenced entrance fee no later than 12 p.m. on August 17th, 2026, which is the point in time, at least 75 days before the date of the election. The municipal election commission shall examine every statement of candidacy filed and determine its validity as provided by law at least 60 days prior to the day of the election. When so validated, the commission shall place the name of each candidate on the ballot. If no candidate for the town council in Ward 1 obtains a majority of the office votes cast for the office of town council in Ward 1, the runoff election shall be held on November 17th, 2026, between two candidates receiving the highest number of votes for the town council in Ward 1 election, which was held on November 3rd, 2026. If the candidate for the town council in Ward 2 obtains a majority of the votes cast for the office of town council in Ward 2, the runoff election shall be held November 17th, 2026, between the two candidates receiving the highest number of votes for the town council in Ward 2 in the election, which was held on November 3rd, 2026. Polls for all runoff elections shall be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. All right, this time I'll entertain a motion to adopt as amended to add Cedar Grove precinct. Will be voted at Cedar Grove, and opening for books will be at noon, opening time at noon on August the 3rd, 2026. Make that formal motion. Have a second by Councilman Roberts. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? Lee?
Yes.
And it's unanimous. At this time, we have item number 4, new business, which is a permit denial appeal. Mr. Tracy Black, we've moved over our public comment. That we heard before that appeal. So at this time, who's the first one on public comment?
Brandon Farr.
Keep in mind, approach the microphone, state your name, your address, please, and keep it to a 3-minute limit. Our town attorney will be keeping time. Any judge to stop?
Good evening, Mayor.
It's on.
Good evening, Mayor and Town Council.
I'm not here.
My name is Brandon Parham. I reside in Williamson at 18 Woodmere Court. I come before you tonight not only as a citizen of this community, but as a high school coach and also a director of a youth sports league, a Christian and a lifelong advocate for children and youth. For years, I've had the privilege of mentoring young people, building relationships with families, and helping create environments where kids feel safe, supported, and encouraged to grow. That is why this issue matters deeply to me. I'm here tonight because a church associated with a registered sex offender is appealing the mayor's previous decision denying its request to use Williamson Mineral Spring Park as a place of worship. I respectfully ask each of you to stand by the mayor's original decision and deny this appeal. Before I go any further, I want to make something very clear. As a Christian, I believe every person is capable of seeking God's grace and redemption. I'm not the judge of anyone's soul. One day, every one of us will stand before Almighty God and answer for our own lives. That judgment belongs to Him alone. But while I'm not called to judge a person's eternal destiny, I do believe we're called to exercise wisdom and good judgment when it comes to protecting our children and our community. This isn't about denying anyone the opportunity to worship or seek redemption. Every person has the right to attend church, pursue faith, and strive to become a better person. That is not what is being debated tonight. The question before you is whether the city of Williamson should allow this appeal and make one of our community's most family-centered public spaces the location for worship services led by or closely associated with a registered sex offender. I believe the answer is no. Yes, there may be legal loopholes, but just because something is legally permissible doesn't automatically make it the right thing to do. If a church truly seeks to bring honor and glory to God, it should hold itself to a higher standard, not simply ask what is legally allowed, but what best protects the community and reflects Christ's love for the vulnerable. Likewise, if loopholes exist that limit your ability to protect the purpose of our public spaces, I encourage this council to do everything within its legal authority to address those. Williamson Mineral Springs Park belongs to the families of this community. It is where children play, where parents gather, and where memories are made. Parents never should have to question whether the leaders of our community are putting the safety, confidence, and peace of mind of families first. This decision is not about hatred or revenge, it's about stewardship. The use of the city park for organized worship services is a privilege entrusted by this council, not an entitlement, and that privilege should come with the public's confidence. There are many churches and ministries that can faithfully serve this community without creating unnecessary concern or division. Tonight, I ask you to stand with the children of Williamston, stand with the parents, the grandparents who trust you to make difficult decisions. Stand with the mayor, who has already taken the necessary steps to prevent this from happening. If necessary, pursue every lawful avenue to close any loopholes that undermine your ability to protect our public spaces. As a coach, I teach young people the character is revealed not when decisions are easy, but when they're difficult. Tonight is one of those moments. Please stand firm. Thank you for your time, your service, and your commitment to the people of Williamston.
Beth Everett.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Beth Everett. I reside at 176 Rockwell Drive. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Parks are not just open spaces. They are places created for children to play, explore, and feel safe. Parents bring their children there with a reasonable expectation that our community is taking sensible steps to reduce known risks. When someone has taken deliberate steps toward harming a child, we have a responsibility to take that seriously. This is not about hatred, revenge, or denying that people can change. It is about recognizing that forgiveness and accountability can exist at the same time. A person can be forgiven and still be restricted from places where children gather. A person can be redeemed and still be subject to safeguards because of their past actions. For that reason, I urge the town to deny this permit application. The issue is not whether people have a right to worship. They do. The issue is whether a child-centered public space is the appropriate place for an activity involving an individual with a history of attempting or intending to harm a child. Children cannot be expected to recognize danger, evaluate risk, or protect themselves the way adults can. That is why communities create rules for schools, playgrounds, daycares, and parks. Those rules are not about punishment, they are about prevention. We should not have to wait for a child to be harmed before taking known risks seriously. Some will argue that Jesus forgives and that people deserve a second chance. In 2012, I graduated from the Haven of Rest Women's Ministry. I believe deeply in God's grace and in the power of redemption. I wouldn't be who I am today without Christ's saving grace. I also believe that true repentance includes accepting consequences. 20 years ago, I convicted a felony, and as a convicted felon myself, I understand that some restrictions remain because of the choices I made, however long ago that was. Consequences and accountability do not disappear simply because forgiveness and redemption has occurred. Ministry can take place in many locations: churches, homes, community centers, and other facilities where appropriate safeguards can be maintained. Denying this permit does not deny anyone the right to worship. It simply puts our children's safety first. But this issue is bigger than one permit application. The fact that we are debating this today shows the gap in our local ordinances. This is not the only individual in town with a history of offenses involving children. Unless our ordinances are strengthened, this same issue will continue to become before this council again and again. I urge town leaders to review and amend our ordinances to establish clear protections for parks and other child-centered public spaces. Doing so would provide consistency, prevent future conflicts, and place the safety of children where it belongs, at the highest priority. We can believe in redemption while choosing prevention. We can show compassion without being careless. And when forced to choose, we should always choose the safety of our children first. Thank you.
Thank you. We normally don't have dialogue back and forth during public comment, but I do want to make sure that the public understands and is clear. This permit was applied for, review the date, 4/17/2026. That was prior to this body enacting an ordinance. We do have an ordinance in place now.
Thank you.
That is in place. Anybody else?
Eden Shirley.
Mr. Sheriff, come on up.
Hello, my name is Eden Shirley, and I'm 21 years old, and I live at 6098 Dalton Creek Road. And I first want to applaud everyone here that is standing up for their beliefs and what they believe in and expressing that. And I first want to start off, that I find it absurd that we even have to have a discussion of whether or not somebody who is thinking about or has done abuse of any sort, whether that's being a pedophile, sexual abuse towards women of any sort, it's just absurd to me that we have to have a discussion whether or not they can be around kids. And it's terrible that these people even exist. And I want to talk about how they are let go all the time. We have plenty of repeat offenders in Anderson, Greenville. I see them all the time in the news, and seeing all of that makes me afraid for my future children. My little brother, he was just in here a few minutes ago. He's 3, almost 4. He's been to that park a few times, and I know that I would not feel safe going there, knowing that there's a potential threat to him, that he could be harmed in some way, or that some other child could be harmed. So I do ask that this council deny any attempt at having anyone associated with abuse or a sympathizer to abuse. That needs to be stopped, and there needs to be an end to that. And abusers, pedophiles, they are let go all the time by magistrates. That's another thing that people need to look into. Everyone here, magistrates, legislation, we've had judges and legislators arrested for abuse towards children. The crimes being committed towards children is horrendous. They are atrocious, and people need to stand up. The amount of people that are indifferent to this issue is astounding. It's appalling, is what it is. And I just want to urge everyone to stand up for what they believe in, even if it doesn't directly affect them. This may not directly affect me if this were to go through, but there's still a threat there, and that threat needs to be neutralized at all costs to protect all of our children in this county, city, state, country, etc. And so, I think that made my point pretty clear that this needs to be denied. So, thank all of you for hearing me out, and thank everyone here for speaking up.
Thank you. Any others? All right, so to give you a little bit of context, I mentioned that Mercy Outreach sent a permit over to my office on 4/17/2026 to have a religious meeting entitled SIP, S-I-E, at the pavilion at the creek. And I will read you my response. Dear Mr. Black, thank you for submitting your application to the pavilion at Middle Spring Park. I appreciate your willingness to follow the town of Williamson's permit process. After careful review, I recommend inform your application is not at this time based on the following factors. Number 1, public safety concern. The proposed event would likely involve the presence of a registered sex offender in proximity to the park and area regularly frequented by children and families. Given the nature and the location of anticipated attendance, this represents a significant and legitimate public safety concern that cannot be adequately mitigated under the current proposal. Number 2, insurance and indemnification requirements. The application does not include proof of liability insurance, nor sign full harmless indemnification agreements required in town policy. These protections are mandatory to safeguard both the town and the public. Number 3, law enforcement staffing requirements based on the expected attendance and the high potential for conflict. The town determined that a minimum of 4 officers will be required to ensure the safety of all participants and the general public. The cost associated with providing this level of security responsibility to the event organizer. At this time, no provision has been made to satisfy this requirement. And that came with the request of Chief Marcy when I asked him what he needed to be able to ensure the safety of everybody at that event, also including any protesters that might arise from that event. Keep in mind that this application generated quite a bit of social media buzz, which also triggered a bunch of folks deciding to come out and think they may protest the event. So, the purpose of today's hearing is to hear from Mr. Black and for you guys to either uphold my denial or to overrule which this body has been doing. Councilman Cole, are you still with us? I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, could you hear me?
Yes, I could, and I appreciate the comments from those that spoke.
Perfect. All right, thank you. Mr. Black, if you will approach the microphone and the floor is yours. You do not have a 3-minute limit, by the way.
Thank you.
This is public comment.
Well, Mayor, I appreciate the opportunity to come and express our side of the situation. there's been a lot of misinterpretation of what we were even asking for because of social media. Majority of people go on there with fake names and Everhood Fuzzy Squirrel 123 is just out to stir up trouble and just both-faced lies about even asking for someone to be that's on a list to come to the park. It was never even mentioned because once it blowed up on social media immediately, Mr. Helmuth, which is part of our church membership, he decided, I will not go back. You know, I'm not fighting for the right to come to the park. He graciously stepped out. And so his attacks continued up into it. And I'm at a point now, I just want to be treated like everyone else. We have a family reunion. It's got a name. It's called SIP. But it's nothing any more than a family reunion. We come together because we invite people that don't have families. We invite people that's hungry and want to come and eat. And it was actually built on the idea that I can hold someone's hand and spend 5 minutes and pray with them and change their life forever. And God has honored that just by our meetings there. We've, a lot of situations, the homeless have got vehicles and got jobs and end up not on homes no more. There's a lot of people that used to walk the streets in Winston because of our help. We have lifted them up, and they not an issue of homelessness in Winston. And it's not because of magic, it's working out and it's working together. I do work with other churches and all, and this is the situation. Anybody trying to defend what is right was attacked by some unknown people. All we ask is the truth. The truth is I'm personally looking forward to when we can get back into the park and teach about the Sabbath. That was the whole reason to do it, is teaching how the Sabbath. You work 6 days and you come to the end of it and lay it down and give it to Jesus Christ, and that's your rest. But then we go into the next stage. Yes, John was our guitar player. Yes, John helped finance a lot of what we done. But after the issue, he's not trying to do it. This is not no, like Hollywood promotes, story time by drag queens or nothing even close to that. If we were going to do anything that was not above board, we would pick a better time. There's more cameras in Winston Park now in Fort Knox. Everything we ever done in the park there is on Facebook Live. Just go back and look. There's nobody trying to hide nothing. They said something about us teddy bears. We did a deal with the teddy bears from the Goodwill up here. They give us a good deal. We had them out. Why? Just to invite God's love. If I should find my family there, I spend time talking to mom and dad. That's not no kid predator thing going on. That is so far from the truth. We're trying to offer love that Jesus Christ offered. The hope that only Him can do. Not just for kids, but for the old people that don't have nobody else. We don't ask for much. We don't reserve our spot there. We were doing Sunday morning service there. Many times somebody come up and say, oh, it wasn't posted because the town would forget to put the post up there showing it was reserved. We packed up and moved. We've been going 3.5 years down there and never had a complaint. The only positive they took was the mayor himself. He come up and said, good job, we appreciate what y'all do. That was a year or so ago. And that was before all the bull that come out over John. I am trying to support John's past because he and himself and his family, they got beat up 20 years ago. They didn't want to go and pull this situation and go through it again. You know, I supported his family. His family got beat up enough that it's on social media. They attacked his businesses and their cousins and brothers and just anybody and everybody. Same way with my business. They all want to do it. Bunch of haters in there is stirring the mess. We ain't doing nothing. You can come join us, you can see it. And that was my complaint. There's nobody that argued about, you know, hey, predators shouldn't be in the park. Shouldn't be out playing with kids. But this is not the situation. This is the situation. Well, me personally, I created Sabbath in the park. I'd like to see it go into other towns, but where we at now is just trying to, you know, get some sanity in it. I just wanted to come out here tonight and give you the truth of the situation. We ain't got no other motives. We're trying to teach Jesus Christ, do it outside of the building. Thank y'all for this opportunity tonight. You know, I just pray God guide you, and, I'm open for questions, anything at all.
Mr. White, I got a couple, if you don't mind, just to head off. You mentioned a specific name of Mr. Helwood. I don't know, we might have to look back at his criminal history. I can see what people say on social media. I don't know that to be true, I don't know that to be false. But I will ask you 3 questions. Number 1, has he been in a leadership position with the church?
Yes.
Okay. Number 2, was he in a leadership position when he attempted to proposition a minor for which he was indicted and convicted?
No.
You sure about that?
No. I mean, not with our church, no.
That's not what I asked.
We're 3.5 years into our ministry.
Okay. I don't know the details of it.
That was 20 years ago. I don't know the details either. I just know.
My 3rd question and final question, has that person participated in your previous events in Middle Spring Park?
Yes, they have. But now we are in a situation that he's not wanted, he's not even attempting to step up and force his sale. I just kind of worried that.
Members of council.
Quick question. I have to ask. Okay, and I don't know the gentleman either, so I don't know his past, and I don't know his intent. But I just, when it was brought to me and I saw the situation, I immediately thought about the Apostle Paul from the book of Corinthians, when he says, God is not a God of confusion, but of peace. I knew that I had a history of that type of ill conduct. And I knew that it was going to cause confusion for me to be there if somebody saw me. This is what Paul says again from the book of Corinthians. There was a situation where people were going to the markets and they were buying meats that were sacrificed to idols. Paul says, I know that there are idols many. He says there are plenty of idols, but these idols have no power. He says, but if me being, endowed in the Word of God, and people who are not see me going and purchasing this meat, I'm eating it in faith, but they'll eat it and it'll cause them to stumble. So he says, the way that I fix that, he said, I will not eat meat while the world's standing. What he did there, he cared more for his fellow man than he did his own self. So, and I'm not pointing fingers, saying who's to blame or anything, but I would have thought about that before I went, because that opened the door for a lot of confusion. Now, what it has done is, even if he doesn't come back with you guys, and you guys come back, and this is just people, period, it's still going to tag you or associate you with him. Now it makes everybody continue to complain about you, and that's not your intent. So I'm just saying that I would be, I'm saying be more so selective. I'm not saying that, I understand the scripture says that we should not have respect of persons.
You could say that on anything, even the coaches. He's gonna coach and, hey, somebody I'm gonna come be on the list. We may feed some people. That's the first thing comes to my mind on the list. How many people, the lower class of people comes up and asks for some food, and we have them, are we obligated to them and what their past is? Yes, we did have one playing the guitar, but that was stopped. I don't know what the future holds as far as somebody coming to visit, coming to eat a hot dog, eat a hamburger with us. We need to have some kind of standard. If I show up by myself, play music, do I need a permit for that? How many people does it cost to require to have a permit? Can I advertise? I just need some clarity. I can work around the law at any time, you know, I'm not out to break the law, and I'm glad that y'all have a new ordinance that handles this. But I can't be responsible for people coming and join us at the park no more than we could if we do the, you know, the fireworks display. You don't know who's gonna come up.
And I just hope and pray that you, and I just hope and pray that you understand our stance. Because our stance is our children are our future. And if we don't protect them, who will?
Right. And hey, I'm all for protecting the children. And it's back to this, our ministry's not, definitely ain't harmed the child, ain't done that, ain't planned to do it. We have, like I say, they were an issue with somebody that had a past. And many people have family that have a past. And that was one that's done, it was called to attention, and we eliminated it. And then we'd like to go on, continue our ministry. Last 4th of July, we had a big deal in the Winston Park. And, we sponsored everything, and bouncing houses and all, and just reaching out to the community. And, never had a complaint, not one. You can check on any Facebook live feed, and you can tell everything that we've done. They just, back to it, I just need that, ask to get treated like everyone else.
And I like what the young lady that stood before you, what she said. She said that years ago, she said she was a convicted felon. She was forgiven, but she still takes responsibility for anything that comes her way as a result of the choice that she made. She accepts that because she says, hey, I made that choice, and so now, even though God will forgive us. He says if we are faithful and just to admit our sins or confess our sins, He's faithful and just to forgive us. But people don't forgive and forget that quick.
And I understand if it was somebody that was on the sexual offender list standing here.
And then that's just it. You guys didn't know that. He should have been the one that told y'all, hey guys, look, this is a problem that I have, or this is something that I was convicted of. So now, whenever you get ready to have something in the park, just simply say, I can't participate because of this. See, I'm having to accept, the consequences of a decision that I made years ago.
I think y'all be out there.
I've got some more information for you, Mr. Black. You asked, and I heard specifically, you asked to be treated like everyone else. If we really want to do that, there's a church that actually meets here at Town Hall. They pay $400 a week, a month. $400 a month, $100 a week, roughly thereabouts. They have a whole harmless agreement on file. They have the insurance on file with them. That would be treated like everyone else. I haven't required that. You guys are kind of an impromptu group to meet in the park. The problem became when we became aware that you had a person in a leadership position, on the sex offender registry, in the park, and it wasn't just that, it wasn't just y'all, it was the other folks who were upset and really upset about it, and were coming to try to protest and disrupt the service. And here's the big conundrum that I was in as the mayor. When you guys have an organized service like that, whether it's condoned or sanctioned by the town or not, or even if we were even aware of it, when you guys do that, and let's say good ordinary people come and say, you know what, that's not right for a sex offender to be out there, and they go start yelling at you in your church, or calling you names or whatever, guess what they've just done? They've just committed a crime in and of themselves. They've disrupted a church, a worship service in our park. And I had very, very lengthy conversations with our police chief, with other law enforcement officials, even the State Fusion Center, that were looking at some of the credible threats that were made. They didn't rise to the level of criminal, but certainly rose to the level where, in order to ensure the safety of you guys and anybody who may be protesting you guys, we need law enforcement involved.
It's easy to do it when you use fake names and fake
I
groups.
understand that, and I understand the position you're in. And let me also add too, after this all blew up, a fellow by the name of Mr. Helmuth, and I'm assuming that's the same guy, reached out to me via social media and actually said, look, it's not my intent to cause a big scene, it's not my intent to cause unrest within the community. I'm willing to bow out, and I'll even come. I'll give him that, he did say that. However, once the permit's granted, with no ordinance in place, I have no way of controlling it. Does that make sense? If he signed,
Yeah.
you know what, heck with it, I'm gonna show up anyway.
But then wait, don't you have an ordinance now?
We have an ordinance in place now. Keep in mind, this permit was denied on 4/17/2026, the same day it was applied for reasons that I read out loud and specified. And again, you mentioned treat the same. We have another church that needs, that they actually pay. They actually have a whole harmless agreement on file. They have liability.
Families meet there every day, the
I
family
understand.
reunion, it's all in the number, or the worst case of what name we put it under. You know, that's.
So you ask for clarity. It's true. I don't want to have everybody who has a birthday party at the park have to go permit and have to approve somebody having a birthday party. However, when they do have a public event, which like you talked about, where it's gonna be advertised, where you meet on a regular basis for a specific, thing, whether it be for worship, for whatever that is a point where I think you probably need a permit. Does that make sense? Just so we know how to handle the situation. Do we need law enforcement there?
Yeah.
What do we need?
That'd be fine, and then if you give the permit, but you know.
But I explained very clearly the reasons for that denial. Now, some of that might be a moot issue now. For example, Mr. Helmut can't come to the park. He is by ordinance restricted to come to the park. So that may be a moot issue at this point in time. The other things, I stand firm on. I need a hold harmless agreement, I need a certificate of liability, and the town name is additional insurance. Okay? And council can overrule me on that. That's what you're here for tonight. But that's where I stand on it.
I do thank y'all.
Thank you. Our town attorney, do you have anything you'd like to add to it, or we good?
I think you covered everything.
Okay. Councilman Cole, I know you're full of, good information. I'd like to hear from you, please.
Thank you, Mayor. A few comments I'd like to make.
You're here. Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, okay. The way that I look at this, and I appreciate, Mr. Black for his information. Also appreciate the folks who spoke tonight, on this issue. The way that I look at it is our ordinance, it's clear that, for certain types of events, and there's right now ordinances, that, permits are required. And that the mayor has the authority to, issue those permits and to deny those permits
Thank you, Councilman Cole. Any other member of council? All right, so the question of the night. Will the permit that was applied on 4/17/2026 be upheld or overturned by denial? Keep in mind, Mr. Black, you are more than welcome at any point in time to reapply. When you reapply, I do want it to be known, this particular permit, we're gonna vote on it tonight. Okay, you're more than welcome to reapply. When you reapply, one thing that I will be adamant on, and because we've got historical precedents in that, we've got another church actually paying. I'm not asking you to do that. What I am asking you to do, to tell you that I'm requiring you to do, for me to approve a permit, will be to have insurance with the town name as additional insured and a hold harmless agreement. It's very simple. You can go to any website, pull a hold harmless agreement, you hold the town harmless for any type of, issues you may have, or somebody twists their ankle or whatnot, they're not gonna sue us. Does that make sense? So what we're voting on tonight will be, strictly this particular, permit application was applied for on 4/17. You can go tonight after we get done and reapply. But those two things will be really important for me to have, okay, on file.
I appreciate y'all time.
So at this time, I'll entertain a motion, we'll vote, we're not gonna move on. At this time, I will call the question, all in favor of overturning, my denial, please show by raising your hand. All right, Lee?
I'm not in favor of overturning your denial.
Okay, copy that. It is unanimous. Council has spoken. The appeals, the denial, stands. And again, Mr. Black is more than welcome to continue to apply, provide, he meets those criteria. I've got no problem issuing a, permit simply because our ordinance already deals with the sex offender park. You cannot be on sex offender registry and visit our parks. All right? So if he meets all the other criteria, again, there's precedence there, for other folks and other organizations, particularly churches that leave the municipal complex and on municipal grounds to have, whole harmless agreement and the insurance. I have no problem, approving that. So at this time, I don't have anything for executive session this evening, so does anybody have anything for the good of the order? Like that, I want to thank y'all for coming and attending this evening. Roberta's got something she'd like to file for Jerry.
I forgot one thing, we got our signs in, we got our new wayfinding signs
Okay.
and our park signs, they're in. Kevin's on vacation this week, but hopefully next week we'll get those
I'm assuming that's
installed.
what those poles were on the sidewalk out back. I assume.
No, that's correct, mine are locked in the room, so nobody will take them. But we got the wayfinding signs and the new park signs for Brookville and Gray Drive. Yeah.
Perfect.
That look wonderful.
Outstanding. All right. Lee, do you have anything else for the good of the order?
Just, thank you, Mayor, for, making the combination, making it and thank everyone who attended the meeting tonight. Even though I can't physically see you, I appreciate you being there, and I'm sorry that I'm not there. Right now, on the trip to this meeting for certain lights. So, thank you all, and I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you. This time I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
A motion on the floor by Councilman Rogers.
Second.
Second by Councilman Lee. Any discussion about adjournment? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? Lee, you in favor of adjournment?